like to inform you that this event will be conducted in English. Thank you. Virtual Comparative Law Public Lecture Series, Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Open University, with the theme Comparative of Legal Education between China and Indonesia. Thursday, the 31 October 2023. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Respectable Dean for Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Open University, Mr. Muhammad Husni Arifin, SAG MSc PhD, Honorable the Chairman of Law Study Program, Mrs. Megafuri Apriyandini SHMH, Honorable Invited Guest, Lecturer of the Open University of China, Mr. Dr. Sijun, Honorable all participants of this seminar. Welcome to the virtual Comparative Law Public Lecture Series with theme Comparative of Legal Education between China and Indonesia. First of all, let us praise to Almighty God. Because of His blessing, we are able to attend this event. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Helen Ardena, will be the master of ceremony. I will be very honored to be along with you at this virtual room. And let me read out our agenda this morning. The first, opening. The second, singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. The third, speeches. The fourth, material delivery. And the fifth, closing. The first agenda is the opening. Let's open this event by reading Tasmiyah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hopefully, with reading earlier, this event can run smoothly as it should. As a form of our gratitude for being part of the Unitary Republic of Indonesia, starting the event this morning, the second agenda is singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, step on to following agenda are speeches. The first welcoming speech will be delivered by the Dean for Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Open University, Mr. Muhammad Husni Arifin, SAG MSc PhD. To Mr. Muhammad Husni Arifin, please, time is yours.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, everyone. Dear distinguished speakers, Dr. Sriwayu Kridasakti, SHMSc, a lecturer at Law Study Program, Universitas Terbuka, our invited speaker, Dr. Si Jun from the Open University of China, Honorary Chair of Law Study Program, Universitas Terbuka, Ibu Mega Furi Apriandini, all lecturers, tutors, students of Law Study Program, and all participants of this webinar. First of all, let's give praise and thanks to Allah who has given us all grace and health so that we can attend this webinar and carry out our daily activities well. I would like to express my thanks to the distinguished speakers, especially our invited speaker, Dr. Si Jun from Open University of China, who has a willingness to be a speaker in this webinar. And I would like to welcome you to Indonesia, and I hope you can enjoy your stay at the UT office and at Pondok Cabe. I express my appreciation to the Law Study Program Universitas Terbuka, which took the initiative to conduct this webinar with the interesting topic about the comparative legal education between Indonesia and China. I think it is very interesting topic because we will discuss the legal education system in both Indonesia and China, and we will get knowledge from direct source about the legal education system in China, its implementation, and how the role of culture, politics, and economics influence the education system in China. Apart from that, I think this webinar will also enrich our understanding of China's legal system and its comparison with the legal system in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, many of the discussion about legal education in Indonesia are similar to the ones conducted in other countries. They reflect the tension between liberal legal education on the one hand and vocational training on the other, as well as the tension between legal education preparing students for legal practice and one preparing them for a broad range of generalist position.
The link, that one.
However, we argue that legal education in Indonesia is also marred by problems of the legal systems itself and by lack of communication between its constituent parts. For example, the judiciary, the legislative, the bar, public prosecutors, and legal scholars. I think these problems sometimes have resulted in unproductive and largely misguided debates in law study program between proponents of legal formalism and others promoting a more contextual approach to law. Dear distinguished participants, I think it is very important that we should pay more attention to comparative law pedagogy in today's world, where law graduates must be prepared for working in a global context. Whereas in academic comparative research, the goal is to reach a deep cultural understanding of foreign law. In legal education, the goal is to learn to think like a lawyer. It is argued that by means of teaching foreign law, it is possible to transfer the focus of legal learning away from detailed rules and instead concentrates in general principles. Well, I will not be long in giving speech, and I know you can wait to watch the speakers, to hear the speakers' presentation, and begin to discuss legal education. Once again, I would like to express my thanks to the speakers, chair of the law study program of Universitas Terbuka, and all the committee members who have helped organize this webinar. Finally, enjoy participating in the webinar and get much benefit from it. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thanks to Mr. Muhammad Husni Arifin SAG MSc PhD for the enlightening speech and for the officially opening the seminar. The second speech will be delivered by the chairman of Law Study Program, dear Mrs. Megapuri Apriyandini SHMH. Please, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Helen. Good morning, distinguished guests, speakers, and participants. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to this virtual of the Comparative Law Public Lecture Series class with the topic Comparative of Legal Education between China and Indonesia, organized by Department of Law, Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Universitas Terbuka. This event serves as a platform for knowledge exchange and insightful discussion on the legal education both in China and Indonesia. As the head of Law Department, I'm thrilled to witness the collaboration between renowned academic institutions in Indonesia and China, fostering mutual understanding and promoting legal expertise in the region. I would like to express my gratitude to speakers, Dr. Si Jun from Open University of China, and Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti from Universitas Terbuka for sharing their valuable insight with us today. Without further ado, I invite our first speakers, Dr. Si Jun, to deliver his presentation. Thank you.
That's the speech delivered by Mrs. Megapuri Apriyandini SHMH. We thank you. Before we move on to the next session, I would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Husni Arifin SAG MSc PhD as the Dean for Faculty of Law, Social and Political Sciences, Mrs. Megapuri Apriyandini SHMH as Chairman of Law Study Program, Mr. Dr. Si Jun, and Mr. Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti SHMH as speakers, and all the participants in this virtual room to join us for group photo session. Please be ready with your best pose. Please, team, could you help me to take the picture here? For all the participants, you can open up your camera and join us for group photo session here. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are about to enter the main event. Before that, let me introduce our moderator. This is Evelyn Pinkan Komuna SHMH. She's one of our great lecturers who will lead this session with the speakers. Please give a round of virtual applause to welcome Mrs. Evelyn Pinkan Komuna SHMH.
Thank you, Helen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone. The Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Law, Social Sciences, and Political Science, Universitas Terbuka, Mr. Muhammad Husni Arif, SAG, MSc, PhD. The Honorable all the Vice Deans of the Faculty of Law, Social Sciences, and Political Science, Universitas Terbuka. The Honorable the Chairman of Law Department as the organizer for today's event, Mrs. Megafuri Abdiandini SHMH. And the Honorable all the keynote speaker and of course all of the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Evelyn Pinkan Komuna, your moderator for today's event. I am very pleased to welcome all of you to the Comparative Law Public Lecture Series class with the topic Comparative of Legal Education Between China and Indonesia, organized by Department of Law, Faculty of Law, Social Sciences, and Political Science, Universitas Terbuka. So Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon to change the world, and we also believe it. So today, we will compare education regulation from two biggest population countries, which is China and Indonesia. Our purpose is to understand the similarity and maybe the differences between the two countries, and hopefully we can adopt the goodness for our education regulation. So ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the presentation, allow me to explain the regulation for this presentation. Each presenter will be given 30 minutes to present their materials. After that, we have two question and answer sessions for 50 minutes each. We will take 3 questions for each session. So participant can use raise hand tool to notice us for give the question live, or the participant can use the chat room and type the question. Please introduce yourself, make a clear questions in accordance to the material, and also to whom the question is addressed. So ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to welcome and introduce our first keynote speaker, Dr. Si Jun from Open University of China. Please give him an applause. Dr. Si Jun is an academician from China Open University. He got his bachelor's degree in Chinese language and literature at Central China Normal University. His master's degree in administrative law from Renmin University and doctor's degrees in administrative law from Law Institute of Chinese Academy of Social Science. Dr. Si Jun actively writes and publishes articles in administrative law field. Mr. Si Jun, you have 30 minutes to present your material, and now the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Xie Jun from Open University of China. I majored in Chinese law. After I graduated from the law school, I have been working in the experimental college of Open University of China for nearly 20 years. So I'm quite familiar with law education in China. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to introduce law education in China to you. Because I'm not a native speaker, so I suppose you may have difficulties to understand me. So I sent the text of the speech in advance to you. If you have some if you need further discussion with me, please send an email to me. I have my email address on the PowerPoint. So let's begin my introduction. In the first part, I will introduce some basic information. Firstly, our country's basic strategy for governing is to govern the country according to law and build a socialist country under the rule of law. This is a provision from the Constitution. Today, most of us here majored in law, so we all know that the Constitution is the most effective law. To build a country ruled by law, we need to make efforts from various aspects, among which the most important is to cultivate enough legal talents. To cultivate legal talents, we need law education. Those students in China are divided into 4 levels, from low to high, namely junior college, undergraduate, master's, and doctoral. I haven't found all the information, but I have the latest undergraduate enrollment in the summer of 2023. A total of 85,000 students were admitted to law schools at the undergraduate level. This number ranked 4th among all majors, with the top 3 being 125,000 in computer science, 110,000 in English, and 100,000 in accounting. Based on the proportional relationship between each other, I calculate the enrollment numbers for junior colleges, masters, and doctoral programs are approximately 105,000, 18,000, and 2,000. It's not a accurate number. I just make a rough calculation. So you can get the whole map of the law education in China. In junior college, there are about 105,000 students every year, and in undergraduate level, there's 85,000, and every year we have 18,000 master students in law and 2,000 doctoral students in China. There are a total of 3,013 higher education institutions in China, of which 638 offer law education. Among them, there are 313 institutions providing master's education, among which 60 are qualified to enroll doctoral students. It's worth noting that master's degree in law are divided into Master of Laws and Juris Master. Master of Laws focus on a deeper understanding of specific subject in law. Students will mainly engage in teaching and research work in the future. Juris Master focus on practical application and requires a broader knowledge of legal practice with a complex and extroverted ability structure. They are able to comprehensively apply professional knowledge in law, academic, management, technology, foreign language, and computer science, and independently engage in legal practice and practical work. What we are seeing now are the best law schools in China. This rank is based on the result of the 5th round of discipline evaluation just released by the Ministry of Education. The top 2 universities are Renmin University of China and the China University of Political Science and Law, with the following 5 universities: receiving an A rating. In the second part, I will introduce the teaching situation of the law, focusing on some challenges and countermeasures. The first problem is closed phenomena in the field of law. The closure exists at 3 different levels. The first one is the internal closure of the discipline. The isolation of the teaching staff is severe. Many teachers study public law, do not engage in private law, and vice versa. The second is isolation of law from other disciplines. So we suffer shortage of interdisciplinary legal talents. In reality, there is an increasing demand for legal services in financial market, foreign-related legal services, and invention patents. However, there is an extremely shortage of legal professionals who can handle these cross-disciplinary legal services. Thirdly, law education does not involve enough social knowledge, but the solution of legal issues is not only based on legal provisions, but also influenced by rules such as morality and customs. Students who only study law will encounter difficulties when solving legal problems in society. The courses offered by law schools in this area do not provide sufficient information for law students. The corresponding countermeasures may be it's necessary to offer courses related to society to help students understand legal issues in social contexts. Professor Darilo has conducted in-depth research on this issue, and I quote some important viewpoint from his article here. The curriculum of law school in this regard has not adequately equipped law graduates with those real legal issues. There is a need for compulsory courses related to the social legal understanding to comprehend those law legal issues that affect legal and normative order. The second problem, the disconnection between theory and practice in law education. This is a phenomenon in law education where preaching is the main focus. Legal practice is secondary, and the cultivation of legal talents for application ability is lacking. The legal practice community generally believes that the talents cultivated by the higher law education lack practice ability and are often at a loss when facing practical problems. The reason for this phenomenon are multifaceted. One is the issue of education philosophy. Some Chinese teachers are accustomed to lecturing and are not good at interacting and communicating with students, let alone guide students in practice. The second, most law teachers are PhDs from university to university. I suppose it may be similar here. Most of the teachers in the university who teach laws, they graduated from the university and then they work in another university, which means basically they have no contact with legal practical departments, lacking practical experience and feelings. The corresponding countermeasures should be strengthening practical teaching. Law, like medicine, is a highly practical discipline. Since ancient Greece, people have often compared the two disciplines. People believe that the common ground between law and medicine is that they not only requires theories, but also require the accumulation of practical experience. Medical students need to study in university for 5 years in China. I suppose it's the same in Indonesia, right? The students in medicine, they need to 5 years in the university in China, but law students is just 4 years. So someone suggested that a academic system with first 5 years of studying in university with short-term internship in between and a complete internship in the judicial practice department in the 5th year. The students should undergo all the judicial process before graduating. In addition, it's necessary to improve case teaching. Besides citing cases to explain the principles and rules of law in teaching, it's also necessary to pay attention to the training of skills and logical thinking ability. By participating in mock court debates, legal clinics, and other methods, students are guided to think and discuss real legal issues from a professional perspective, thereby improving their ability to solve problems. The third problem may be degree of internationalization of law education is insufficient, and foreign-related legal talents are scarce. We need to establish special funds to promote international exchanges. The measures aimed at the students include organizing international conferences and giving lectures on international legal practice, creating conditions for students to participate in overseas legal internships and gain experience in international legal services. The measures for teachers include hiring legal talents with foreign academic backgrounds and high foreign language proficiency as teachers. In the third part, I will introduce matters related to employment. Some employment issue. Firstly, there is a national unified legal professional qualification examination. The testing content includes theoretical law, applied law, legal practice, and legal professional ethics. It's organized in 2 sessions, with one session being an objective exam. The objective exam is divided into 2 papers. Each paper has 100 questions with a score of 150 points. Among them, there are 50 single choice questions and 1 point for each question. And there are 40 multiple choice and indefinite definite choice questions with 2 points for each question. The total score of the 2 papers is 300 points. A score of 60% is considered qualified, which is 180. The objective exam adopts a computerized method. The candidates should use a mouse and a keyboard to answer directly on the computer screen. After successfully passing the objective exam, one can participate in subjective exam. There is only 1 test paper, including case analysis, legal document writing, argumentation questions, etc., with a total score of 180 points. Also, a score of 60% is considered qualified, which is 108. The subjective exam is also computerized, equipped with electronic compilation of laws. So the students may be very busy in the exam because the time is limited and the students need to type quickly. And at the same time, they need to search the digital file to find some helpful information for the exam. Many students complain that they don't have enough time to finish the test. And then who need to take this exam? Judges, prosecutors, lawyers, notaries, arbitrators, and the personnel engaged in the administrative department with legal issues. The annual pass rate remains at 10% to 15%. I discussed with some colleagues here. They said the pass issue in Indonesia is much higher. In 2023, the objective exam was held on September 16th and 17th, while the subjective exam was held on October 15th, about 2 weeks ago. At the end of 2021, there were a total of 574,800 practicing lawyers in China. Maybe this is an important number, the number of practicing lawyers in China in 2021. And in 2022, the number of people who passed the qualification exam was 103,160, with a passing rate of 14.66%. This exam is very important for law students. If they cannot pass the exam, they will not be able to find the ideal job. At the same time, due to the relatively low pass rate, the exam is considered the most difficult in the country, and the candidates need to work hard to pass the exam. The students need help, which has formed a training market. Many doctoral graduates have been engaged in this training work. These teachers have been teaching a course for many years, so they are very familiar with the content and can flexibly use interactive teaching techniques. Therefore, their teaching has been welcomed by students. In my opinion, their lectures are very suitable for teachers, even better than those in some universities. And they have an open attitude. They record new lecture videos every year and publish them on their website for learners for free. So I often recommend their online learning resources to our students. Even I myself often watch the videos to learn new legislations and maintain my professionalism. Let's take a look at the employment situation of law students. This is maybe this is a university's statistic on students' employment. With 1% of students joining the military, 2% of students started their own business, and 6% of students pass the postgraduate entrance exam. 7% of students work in the government. 17% of them work in the law firms, and 19% work in the judicial institutions such as courts. 20 of them work in other public institutions such as schools, and 28% work in companies engaged in legal works. The first part, I would like to introduce the popular law education. The significance of popular education is profound. First of all, I need to explain what is popular law education. It's education offered to common persons, which didn't major in law, but as a citizen, they need to know about the basic information of law. So we organized the popular law education. The construction of the society ruled by law not only relies on legal professionals, but also requires active participation of the general public. At the same time, law education for the general public is also a difficult task. Complex objects, inadequate infrastructure, unclear evaluation standards, and so on, can all affect the effectiveness of law education. In China, we implemented a 5-year plan since 1986 to popularize law education. Starting from 2021, the 8th 5-year plan was implemented. Best practice include offering the relevant legal courses in primary and secondary schools and even universities, propagating through television, radio, internet, etc., organizing legal lectures, debate competitions, and other activities, opening a legal hotline, and providing legal consultation service, free distribution of legal materials to the public. Teenagers are the focus of law education. In 2016, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Justice issued an outline of youth law education, which set different goals at compulsory education, high school education, and higher education. But the effectiveness of law education is difficult to evaluate. You can imagine carrying out law education in a large population will definitely have an effect, but the extent is difficult to be guaranteed. Some countermeasures is the latest nation plan proposed diversified measures, and it's worth noting that new technology will be used to improve the effectiveness of law education. The use of online education is naturally the most effective way, which is the advantage of online universities. We have experience in conducting online teaching. We have a network of institutions and staff contributed throughout the country. We have potential advantages in improving the effectiveness of popular law education. Finally, I would like to introduce our online education in Open University of China. Professional teachers provide services at different levels. The teachers at the headquarters are mainly responsible for the construction of online teaching resources. In provincial branches, teachers are responsible for transmitting teaching information and organizing teaching activities between different levels. At a grassroots learning center, teachers directly conduct online teaching for students. I work in the experimental college, which is the only department at the headquarters of the Open University that directly provide online teaching to students. And my job can be roughly divided into two parts: the static learning resource recommendation and dynamic learning support services. Some of the online learning resources are mandatory courses constructed by the headquarters, while some are also elective courses which are constructed by ourselves. The content shown on the screen was the mandatory courses from the headquarters. Dynamic learning services are divided into asynchronous forum discussion and real-time online teaching. It's actually difficult for students to discuss on the forum, so I will try to organize discussion based on interesting legal issues from daily life. For example, there is a topic I show on screen. It's a topic from the daily life, in which a father and his 5-year son buy a pigeon from a farm owner. When the seller handed to the child according to the father's instruction, the child is afraid and his hand retracts. The pigeon fly away. The question is, who owns the property rights of the pigeon? If there are losses, who should bear them? If this case occurred in Indonesia, what would the outcome be? I take it as a prize-based quiz. Please give your answer after the speech. I will offer a gift to you. You can see this is a very common phenomenon in daily life and reflects profound principles of property law, which has aroused the interest of students. We conducted in-depth discussion in the forum, but due to the space limitation, I'm unable to fully demonstrate it. Live teaching services are the most important support we provide to students. Typically, there are 5 live teaching sessions for 1 course per semester, each lasting 2 hours. In order to help students persist in learning, we emphasize participation of live teaching. Approximately 15 minutes is a small unit where legal rules are taught first, followed by case analysis. Finally, some questions are sent to students. They can participate in real time. We have interactive tools that can collect students' answers in real time and then provide the overall result to students in a timely manner, so that students have a good feeling of participating in a learning on-site. These 3 teaching activities are interconnected. The content of online courses is divided into several units, each corresponding to the content of real-time teaching. Live broadcasting is also based on foreign communication, analyzing and providing feedback on the result of foreign discussion. At the end of the live teaching, topics for further discussion are also left for students to continue discussing in the forum. In this way, the learning process forum forms an organic whole. That's all I need to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sujuns, for such an thoughtful presentations. One fact that we notice in if it is law studies in China is on top 4 undergraduate major, quite similar in Indonesia, especially in Universitas Terbuka. And same problem in here. We also facing the same problem, the disconnection between theories and practice that affect our graduate careers. So, ladies and gentlemen, another highlights from Mr. Sijun's presentation are Mr. Sijun presented some challenge and issue in law education in China, such as the closed phenomenon in law field, the disconnection between theory and practice in law educations, and the international law and international lawyer is very rare. So, and the employment issue also. So participants, you allow to type your questions on the chat box for Dr. Sijun. Kindly please to inform your name, affiliation, and your question address. And we will answer your question in question and answer session. So once again, thank you very much for Dr. Sijun. Ladies and gentlemen, now allow me to welcome our second keynote speaker, Dr. Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti, SHMSC from Universitas Terbuka. Mr. Wahyu is a lecturer at Law Study Program Universitas Terbuka since 1985. He graduates from Brawijaya University, Indonesia, and he is also a professional consultant for some national and international institutions. His expertise is administrative law and already published books and scientific articles in that field. So, Mr. Wahyu, you have 30 minutes also to present your material, and now the time is yours.
Can you feel my voice?
Hello. Can you respond me? Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
All right
yes,
then. All
your
right.
voice very clear.
Okay. So I have to turn on my mic in here. Thank you, moderator, and hello everyone. Mr. Sejun, please, I ask your permission. I want to address my materials here. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As has been introduced by the moderators, my name is Sri Wahyu Krida Sakti. Well, it looks like the female names. Because it is quite common name after the Sri, it's a woman's name. My call name is Wahyu. You may call it Wahyu. And I like to give some issues in here to do with these law schools, or you may call it law educations, but I'm a bit specifics in this matter. Let me show you my captions in here. All right. I just want to make sure whether all of you, whether you can see it, my caption in here. Is it visible?
Yes, we can see
All
your.
right. Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right. That is my topic. It's a law school in Indonesia as a general perspective of the outcome-based education. As you know, that in Indonesia, there is a saying, every time there is a political leadership get changed, and then the curriculums change also. And that is why we have been through so many curriculums policy in this matter until recently we got to deal with what we call it outcomes-based education. This outcome-based education abbreviated as OBE. Okay, I want to start with this, and then I think somehow we can compare it with what has been addressed by Mr. Jun. Materials in here. Everyone, let me give an introduction first, because before we go any further to discuss about this law schools, we have to take a look at the backgrounds in our countries. Of course, the background must be to do with these social change. The social change always happens as the civilizations also happen in this world. And we know also that regarding the social change, we cannot disregard what happens during the colonial era and then during the independence era this time. Very specifically, talking about the law schools, we cannot deny what has been established by the Dutch colonial governments by establishing what they call it Rex Hokus schools that belong to the colonial law education in that era. And then now during the independence era, the Reformations era, we have it right now, the law school in a society 5.0 as part of the influence or the impact of the information technology. This situation, of course, if you compare it, really having really much a difference in the policy, the procedures, how the policy relate to these mechanisms in building up the law school. What I mean, a law school here is pretty generic in nature because law school, it may also cover what we call it the degree the degree domain or non-degree domains, because in a law school we have an academy, we have universities, that give a service or give a schemes of study, in these two different kind of platforms, and we are gonna discuss it any further later. This is what we call it the law school, and then also that law school also it cover also whether this one is a undergraduate study program or graduate study program or postgraduate study program. So the law school in here means all of them. And then when we discuss about this, how the social change, somehow evolutionized it, from the colonial era into this modern era, what we call it a law school, from the Recht Hochschule school. Right now, we know it that our curriculums, have to deal with very recent government policy that have to follow what we call it SKKNI and KKNI. SKKNI it stands for the Indonesian National Work Competency Work Standard, and the KKNI is the Indonesian National Qualification Framework. These two nomenclatures is very binary. So the binary in here is a couple. You cannot differentiate or you can separate it between the two of them, because the SKKN is the national competency work, and then the KKN is the indicators that the qualifications of the competency works have to be stated clearly there. And then after we know it, that the government through the decree or through the ministry regulations, root on this matter, that has to be implemented in Indonesia through higher education institution, and how we have to build it. All of them has been provided as a standard operating procedures that the higher education institution got to follow it. And what is actually the critical issue in these discussions? In my opinion, the critical issue is that the transformation between the world of labor or the world of the work or the world of the jobs, and the world of education. So there is a transition, the transformations, how from the needs sectors from the world of labor, jobs, and works into the world of education. And then this is what I'm talking about, the critical issues of this transformation itself. So that's why, when we are doing this transitional periods, we have to make a feasibility studies. In today's, we call it, we have to make academic script, basically a research, what kind of needs that the society really wanted, and then how all of these needs get to be transformed into this educational world. So that is why this is the critical issue, the feasibility study. And it is really based on our practical experience that there are always three factors of analysis that we have to deal with when we are doing these transitional periods, in doing feasibility studies. First, needs of factors that really have to do it very diligently, how to portray and map out, the needs of the society. And then the second is that to do with the competitiveness of factors. of analysis. And we have to deal with it too. And then the last one is to do with the strategy of factors. The strategy factor is really related with how the teaching learning process has to be delivered, and then how the management of this program need to be administered or managed. And then after this, of course, I have an expectations, after we are having this discussions, hopefully we are going to have a better understandings, of how the law schools needs or properly have to be developed, in Indonesia. Now we come to discussions segment that I had already been addressing before. We talk about the need factors. The need factors that include quantities aspect and then the quality aspect. The quantity, we have to know how big is it in total numbers, of the society really need, to be developed, the develop of their competence, we have to know the total numbers as the quantities factors, because we have to know also how to manage this, because a small quantity is going to be different with a large quantities like we have it in here. If we compare it, our total numbers at UT relative to the students belong to the Open University of China, we are nothing, because I believe their students is surpassing 1 million. I think almost 4 million. Yeah, it is really fantastic. If we compare it in terms of the total number of the student participation. Well, of course, we have one was so grateful also, because we have been successfully increase our UT's student participation until now. It's more than 500,000. Still, there's any homework to increase it. Okay, so what happened to the quality factors? The quality factor is to do with what kind or the specific competence, and then the proficiency masteries, that the society really wanted. So when we are doing this feasibility study, we really have to meticulously identify, every single competencies, and then provinces they like to master it. So because this one's going to be our curriculums, profiles. After we studied about these need factors, and then we come to these competitive factors, because every study programs being developed have to consider these competitiveness factors. Competitiveness factors is to do with the efficiency, effectivities, and the curriculum structures. Also, the utilization or the use of ODL. ODL stands for the Open Distance Education and Learning, because this one it's really considered the most, I would call it, efficient so far, compared to the conventional university. And also the competitive factor had to consider also about the accessibility. The accessibility that includes how all of the quality of the transmissions, all of the infrastructures, get accessed by the student that we service it, and then all the accessibility, all of the information, of the students to know their study progress. All of this accessibility is very important to be analyzed also as part of the competitiveness factors. And then the next also the competitiveness using the very utmost interactive teaching learning models that's going to be used in the study, especially the law study program. It's very important. How this blended delivery teaching learning process, this one's being designed, for the benefit of the students. The search need to be analyzed also
Mr. Wahyu? Maybe we face a technical problem, ladies and gentlemen. We will wait until the Mr. Wahyu online back. So all the participants, we allow you to give your questions on the chat box. Please give us your identity and to who you address your questions. And we will answer your questions. The keynote speaker will answer your questions at the Q&A session. Okay, we get Mr. Wahyu back.
Times being kicked out from this transmission, and I think this one is
Okay,
I think 4 times.
It's okay.
All right.
You can, yeah.
Can I continue it, moderator?
Yes, you can continue your presentations.
Thank you. And let me continue it. I just finished it. I'm going to explain this digital environment. All right. So the management strategy factors, we got also have to consider it that how the digital environment is part of the essentials, an important factor that need to be analyzed and then to be part of these management administrations for the benefit service for the students. This digital environment. Digital environment, it means that each individual students, got to have a very user-friendly access, to have such any kind of information to do with the learning progress, and then the publications, sources or whatever they need, including the marks of their exams. That's what I call a digital environment, got to be part of the analysis. And then the other thing also, which is considered very important, is the learning support. I think in this one, for these UT's students, learning support is not a new one, because learning support, that includes how the tutorial systems or the administrative systems, whether this one through online, mode or offline mode, you have gotten very, I think, very good service in your learning process. Learning evaluations also, it's now getting, much easier, for the benefit of the student also, because right now they don't just only have one single type of learning result evaluations. They have to attend, physically, to a certain appointed place to have examination, but they can also now have, online, exams. That's part of the learning evaluation. The online one, you can have also the online examination, but also you can have what we call it right now is a proctors, examinations. Admission also, it is very important, factors to be considered, because as our philosophical foundations, are adopted by the institutions, that UT don't have any kind of restriction policies, that really restricts the students in their time learning periods. There is no dropouts policy. And then there is no, maximum age in the students, and policies, so the students, really may, participate, learns, as a long life education, through this open education and learning. This admission is very important. And right now, we know also what we call it, what in Indonesia we call it RPL. So the recognitions of past experience, can be transmitted or transformed into the credit points. That's part of the admission. And we have to consider it in a today's era. Here you are. Yeah. So I don't want to really guide along, far with this legal foundations of this outcome-based education. So you can take a look here, but I just want to show you there is a reason, there is a problematic issue. So that's why the government, come to a conclusion that really needs this kind of
Mr. Wahyu, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize that looks like Mr. Wahyu
yeah.
have another, yeah, okay.
All right. So
Yes.
thank you.
Do you want to continue it?
Sure. Yes.
Maybe Mr. Wahyu, you have to off your video maybe
Oh, for
while
video.
you,
All right.
yeah, off your video maybe while you presentate your PowerPoint. Yes.
Sure. Thank you for your advice. I like to take it with. This is my video. Where is my video? This one?
Turn
Okay.
off the video. Yes.
Yeah, I want to turn off the video. Wait. All right. Can I resume?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Quickly speaking, though, in here, there was a reason why the government, issued this outcomes-based education. According to the UNESCO report, that in 2020, the quality of education in Indonesia, still low, which is we are in a 10th row, placed out of the 14th in different countries in Asia Pacific alone, not in the world, but in Asia Pacific. Even though our constitution, in the Article 31, in the Fourth Amendment, it said that citizen has the right to have a better education. That's for sure. And I just want to at a glance, gonna relate this the legal foundation after the constitutions as our organic law in here, and then the government also the state, I would call it in here, issued the law number 2023 about the national education system. In Article 2, it says that national education functions to develop abilities and shapes the character and civilization of the dignified nations. And then through the Article 35, verse 2 of Law number 12, 2012, it mandates that higher education curriculum is developed by the university with the reference of national higher education standard in here. And then how it relates to the other ministerial decrees from the manpowers, how it relates between the curriculums and the Indonesian national standard competencies. There is President Decree number 8, 2012 that regulate the SKKNA and KKNI. Remember that SKKNA is the Indonesian national standard competencies, and the KKNI is the Indonesian national the qualification frameworks. It's a manifestation of quality identity of the Indonesian nation. And Article number 1 from the Ministry of Education and Culture, number 3, 2020, it said about the national standard in higher education that said and regulate about this OBE. Okay, that is these organic or legal or organic our foundations. Here, I like to, at a glance, want to let you know also how this SKKNI come to these policies, because the governments and any other any other party have come to the same conclusion and agreement that apparently the design of vocational education and trainings curricula in Indonesia is not in the line with the industrial needs. So, the curriculums whatsoever doesn't really match with the world of labor and job on work. And secondly, also, industries is less involved in identifying education and training needs so far at that times. And so that's why this SKKNI is mandated by Article 10, Paragraph 2 of Law number 13, 2003 on manpower. So that related between this the world of labor, job and works, and then it relates to the world of education. And the Minister of Manpower Regulations, more specifically, regulates about the procedures in determining SKKNI. So there is an equations between the relations between the labor work qualifications and then the educational standards qualifications over there. I'll show you later of this. KKNI. The KKNI is a national qualification standard that the Indonesian National Qualification Framework is a competency qualification framework to juxtaposes, or it means there's a binaries hand in hand and qualifies and integrate the field of education and work training as well as a work experience in order to provide recognitions of work competency according to job structures. That's it. So the program requires education system in higher education. That's the most important thing. So there is what I call it in the critical issues is that how good we develop such feasibility studies, because since we make an error or wrongs, feasibility study, then the rest is going to be useless. That's very important thing. So this one becoming the critical issue, the transition, the feasibility studies that logically and rationally transform it from the world of labor needs into this the world of educational and construction. And this is what I call it the equations in here. I cannot make a bit bigger in here. Okay, so this is the equation. This one from the vocational domain in here. And then this one, this non-vocational, that is the academics domain in here. If you know it in here, so this one in here is general public schools. And then in here is undergraduate level. And this one is graduate level and postgraduate level. And then in this one, in vocational domain, you have diploma 1, 2, 3, 4, and then profession in here as a specialist. Specialist, it's equal to this whether graduate level or postgraduate level. And in here in the middle is this KKNI. So this one is the qualifications framework, Indonesian National Qualification Framework, from the very bottom one, level 1 until level 9. So undergrad level is gonna be fall into the level 6, in KKNI, and diploma 4 gonna fall to this level 6 also, and that's it. So undergraduate profile learning outcomes, so the curriculum requires students to have a criteria ability such as the aspect of attitudes, and then employability, knowledge, and managerial and responsibility. That's the thing that I can draw it from the KKNI, that have to be show it and a design and the structure of these graduate or undergraduate programs in education world. So this is a quick what you call it, a pictures, how from the very general perspective, from the labor world, into this education world. So when OBA have to be conducted and implemented and adopted, then the higher education must analyze it and to make the map of the undergraduate or graduate profiles. What is the profiles of their graduate or undergraduates? The profile got to be to do with what kind of segment of job actually happen there, and then how you divide their competencies, competency and profiles. After you have successfully map out this graduate or undergraduate profile, then you have to relevantly analyze it, the relationship in more detail from graduate profile into in here what we call it graduate or undergraduate teaching objective. So this is the bridge, the transition from what we expected actually the graduates had to have it later when they graduated, and then we come to this teaching objective. We usually abbreviated with GPL. After we have been successfully portrayed or analyzed it in a teaching objective map, and then we analyze it again into the level of course subjects. What is the relevance between this graduate undergraduate teaching objective becoming course subject teaching objective, and then it's becoming our curriculum and so forth, because this is still having long way procedures until we have what we call in here the course materials. So what happened to these UTKs, graduate profiles? And what happens to the curriculums, in UTKs? Please allow me to use this case in graduate study law, the law study, because the information that I like to share it with you is very handy, in my position. So that's why I use this as a example, as an instance to let you know. For this one, the graduate profile would be like this one. I hope you can still see it. So in the field of legal service, we divide it into several profiles in here. Legal services, field of legislation, and the field of legal aid or assistance, and then a legal officer and staff legal, and then civil state apparatus. So this one represents the cluster of jobs, that are the society or the potential students, and need to be given a service in here. So what actually this clusters of these jobs in here with the competencies. So in here you can see it, in the legal service, it is expected that the graduate should be able to provide maximum legal service, to be able to independent carrying out the minimum duties and so forth in here. So I don't need to read it one by one in here. You can take a look at my handout is in here. And then in the field of legislation also, you can see it in here. This is the graduate or undergraduate profile, this one. After, we have this graduate profile, I have to. Oh. Oh, what happened to this? Yeah. Okay. Then we come to better take a look at this curriculum. This curriculum here. That's what actually happened when we transform it from graduate or candidate profile into this course objective. Here. So, oh wait, before we come to this. Oh, yeah. No, I don't want to use this one. Wait. All right. I want to show this one. Wait, here. Okay. Oh, wait. And show. I want to share actually. Yeah. Wait. Maybe can you help me how to share this one? How to share? Share this one. This one. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Dear moderator, can you take a look at my caption here?
Yes, we can see it.
All right.
Your screen.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Okay, dear folks, you can see it in here that in our curriculums, we have at least 5 variables or 5 components that have to be included in our curriculum structures. There have to be what we call it the cluster of mandatory university program. And then we have also the cluster of required study programs, the mandatory also. And then this is also the specialization interests clusters. And then actualization options is another cluster. And the other one is the final cluster. We call it final project. So if you take a look in here, these 5 components, shows how big is the load capacity in terms of the credit points. This is in a graduate law study program. So we have it in here, entrepreneurship as a basic competency, legal services, and here law graduate conceptual knowledge competencies, and a specialization interest competency of main field concentration. We have here 16 credit point and so forth. So there are 5 components that has to be included in our curriculum structures. Okay, and then back again in here.
Mr. Wahyu, I apologize. You have 5 minutes more.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
That is really my bad habit, my moderator. All right, then I want to squeeze and wrap up my presentation. All right. So, dear folks, there are at least 4 what you call it characteristics that the graduate programs development, have to be developed and to be taking a look at it. So they got to be a field concentration because today's needs of competencies, always vary. always so different in many sectors. So that's why you cannot just give a very single concentrations. Otherwise, your potential, students, wouldn't participate. That's a field concentration. And then in graduate law study program, we have 8 different concentration so far. So there is a cyber law, there is a comparative law, and so forth. And then mentoring supervision process. That's very important because what needs to be, advancedly developed is not anymore to do what we call it reactive monitoring supervision process. Reactive, it means the most active ones becoming a student part, but the supervisor is a pretty minimum in their what you call it roles. So got to be progressive. I can show you later if there's any question about this. A digital environment, as I already addressed it. A bilingual course material also is part of the internationalization. So in conclusion, back again, it is very important, the transitionals, process when you develop such kind of study programs based on outcomes-based education. Needs factors, we already discussed it. So there's any social change, quality, quantities. Competitiveness factors, now we have been coming into the Society 5.0 and open distance education learnings, academic concentration, and strategic factors. So we have in here blended deliveries, learning supervision process, digital environment, and so forth. And then what next? The next feasibility is that law schools in a study program, when we really want to be committed to develop it, we have to really pay attention to these 3 factors of analysis. So that's what happened in our law school in Indonesia. So Finn in French. So this is the closing. And thank you very much for your attention. I hope there is any question, just address it. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wahyu, for such an amazing and thoughtful presentations. It is about education's regulations and curriculum, especially in law school Indonesia. So some highlights from Mr. Wahyu presentations is to create a law school and law graduate with outcome-based educations. We need some factors such as social change, competitive factors, strategy, and digital ecosystem. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start our question and answer sessions. For these first sessions, the organizer already select 3 questions from the chat box and maybe from live YouTube. So, the organizer team, you have to share the 3 selected questions. Okay, we have 3 questions in here. First question the first question is for Dr. Si Jun from Grace Sihotang. She is a tutor from Open University or Universitas Terbuka, and she is also a practitioner. She is an attorney, and he wants to ask to Mr. Si Jun. The question is, one of the weakness of distance education for legal sciences is legal practice, especially in court. In non-distance learning, there is moot court practice or simulation court. Meanwhile, the implementations in distance learning is very difficult. What is the Open University in China strategy to get around this so that law graduates through the distance learning program have the same abilities or learning as non-distance learning graduates? So this is these questions for Dr. Si Jun. Next question. The next questions from Mata Lintang Hinanjalu, very beautiful name. He is or she is a student from law Universitas Terbuka, and he direct this question to Mr. Sijun. The second question for Mr. Sijun. The question is, the 450 people of Indonesia have high in ethics. They insulting if someone steal money from the country because rule of law Pancasila moral is high adopted in their spirits and perhaps also afraid of the law enforcement in Sukarno regime. But today the ethics is low. How can the question is, how can education of both socialist law of Open University in China and civil law from Universitas Terbuka can help the society, especially to the people of Indonesia, to bring back their higher ethic against corruptions. Maybe you can connect it to the law educations, the ethic to the students maybe, and the ethic maybe on the subject of the law materials for subject to the students. So this is second questions. The third question from Nisa. The question is direct to Dr. Sri Wahyu Kridak Sakti. The question is, how does the curriculum for legal education in Indonesia address both national and international legal issues? So there is, for this first session, there is 2 questions for Dr. Sijun and 1 question for Dr. Wahyu. We have more, actually a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes to answer for Dr. Sijun and 5 minutes for Dr. Wahyu. Please. Maybe Dr. Sijun first, yeah?
Okay, thank you for the questions. I think they are all very good questions. For the first one, how we deal with the problem, or how can we improve the students' ability to practice? Actually, we have all kinds of design. For example, we carry out the moot court debates and legal clinics, and we organize the students to enter the courts really and experience the process of a case. But in my opinion, it's very limited. During the process, the students just observe the process of the case. Maybe they cannot understand the deep principles, or they may cannot gather the skills to implement the law into a real case. So nowadays, we are designing some new programs. We want to design some workshop on the website. We all use website. We all use Moodle on our website. We have a tool named Workshop, in which the students can share their opinion about a case, and they can exchange their ideas, and they not only need to hand out their homework, they can also work as a teacher to make a decision about other students' homework, so that they can get some new ideas from other classmates' homework. This is the answer for the first question. And the second, I think, is a quite complicated problem. It's talk about the corrupt, especially some clerks from the public department, they steal money from the country. It's not a new phenomenon. Maybe it has a long history. We can find some similar things in the history. In my opinion, it's because it's too complicated. So we cannot deal with it with a single method. For example, law. We can not deal with the problem only with law. So maybe we can think about the just now I mentioned the problems exist in law teaching. There is isolation in the law teaching. It's also the same. We cannot deal with the problem only with laws. We also need some other method. For example, morality, which come from the education. And in my opinion, maybe we need to, if we want to deal with the problem completely, we need a development in economy. I mean, if the society is well developed, then maybe the clerks in the public government they can enjoy a higher salary. Maybe it's less possible for them to steal from the country, because we know in some countries like Singapore, they have the policy. They pay a higher salary to the clerks, so that they can keep a better behavior when they carry out their work. That's the answer for the second question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sijun. So maybe we have from Open University of China, we have law students, Miss Joanna. Maybe Miss Joanna want to share some point of view from the students' perspective.
Okay.
Mr. Joanna?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hi,
you.
thanks, moderator,
Hi.
and thanks,
Yes.
Dr. Xie invites me to this forum. I'm quite honored to speak here. And I'm from China. I'm a student of Mr. Xie and of course from the China Open University. You know, it's amazing after working over like 15 to 20 years and then rejoin the university. It's really a, you know, bring me into another kind of world of law. So I'm, well, I may represent some of my classmates and students to have share certain experiences here. So actually, Open University is a very flexible teaching way of teaching, and for the teachers maybe, but also it's what I feel, but also it's a good way of learning for the students like me, working lots of busy schedules. But I think the way as Dr. Xi presented in his presentation, first is all the online courses listed on the website, and we can learn whatever I have time. And if we have questions, we can present our questions, or even some cases we could not, we need support here on the discussion forum as Mr. Xie presented. And the most important thing is every week we have a live broadcasting lessons or lectures online, just as this one is called webinar. So we can extend, we can not only to listen to the teacher's lecture, but also can share our ideas, feelings, and casting our opinions on certain cases. It's kind of an interactive way of learning. So I really love it. And most of the time, it is our, you know, work off work time, maybe in the evening or maybe during the weekend. It's a time flexibility, give us lots of time to study what at least for me, I love to. And all these live courses and online webinar can be replayed many times. If you can, you know, get it first time, you feel puzzled, you feel lots of questions, and you can follow their lectures for the second time, third time. I love Dr. Xi's lectures on the Civil War very much. In fact, I told him earlier, I even watched it like 3 to 4 times to understand a certain kind of a part. I was not a student. I was majored in the English, and also I have the MBA degree from Peking University. So it's again, but law is totally a different kind of a knowledge to me. So I really follow all the tools and resources where China Open University presented to the student or offered online. So I love it very much. So in besides of the lectures learning and our teachers, including Dr. Xie, really encourage us to read more, to learn more. For me, recently I just finished 2 very important books. Maybe you guys are professionals may know is the Spirit of All Laws from the French law forefront runner Montesquieu, and also another a book Before the Law from the John Bonsignor. So I think all this kind of enlargement on readings and getting students like me into more understanding of the how the law how the law courses being taught, and how the students could understand better. I think law is very important, as shown on the Montesquieu's book. There's just like a light shining along all your life. So I get a lot of learnings from this China Open University, and I think in short words, it provides lots of benefit for all kinds of students from all kinds of professions. So it's digital, and it's effective, and it's flexible. And most important, so as you may know, China is the largest mobile phone users. So China Open University, they offered the mobile apps. So we can carry our phone where we go, and if we find some time sitting in the airport and or the train station, we can open our mobile apps, and we just continue learning. So it's really a very good experiences for real learning for students like me to re-enter into a real kind of countrywide a college or university. So I like it very much. I personally benefit lots from this learning. So thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Joan. We are very happy to see you here, and you look very enthusiastic and really into the law subject. Thank you very much. So we don't have more questions for you. So we have to do the next questions for Mr. Wahyu, because the limitation of time, we are really apology that
Thank you.
we have to move.
Thank you very much. Thank you, moderator.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have to move to another. Yes, we have to move to another question. It is for Mr. Wahyu. Please, Mr. Wahyu. Mr. Wahyu, we cannot hear your voice. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Right. Yeah. Thank you so much, moderator. Well, you're such a very passionate, Thank you. Well, that's pretty bad, every time when we have a very good discussion like this, and then time's always becoming a barrier. Let me respond it all at once. There are 3 questions that I've been writing down in here. First, a thing has to do with the how difficult in implementing subject course subjects with practical teaching and learning process. The practical teaching learning process is pretty daunting in this teaching learning strategy. That's for sure. Of course, until now, it's becoming the main issues. And then also at once, there's question about the ethics, and then and the third about the internationalization. Okay, I would like to make it clear in here. People commonly get it a bit, misunderstanding or get it wrong. The missions of higher institutions, let's say UT as institutions, as academic institutions, to achieve the goals, and then the other one is what I call it a vocational study, that the other part of the teaching strategy that has a really big difference compared to the academic one. So when people want to have a very very good experience in a practice, in mastering their course subject, then they better go to this vocational domain or vocational study program. But of course, in academics domain in here, the institution trying hard to make it closer and closer their teaching strategy, from the very theoretical one into this very practical one. So that's why we know right now there are a lot of interactive teaching learning model that needs to be implemented in the teaching learning process through tutorial. Okay, so for instance, like the mood court, so that's why until now with the technology we have right now, the AI, and then we know also a lot of programs. We can use it, to really make a good design. How this practice kind of
I'm sorry, Mr. Wahyu, we lost your voice again. Hello, Mr. Wahyu. Okay, we face some technical problem already. So while we wait for the technical problem.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay then. Yeah, let me wrap up. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty quickly. So we right now, are developing as a good designs, how to deliver this mood court, not in offline but in online platforms. No, we are developing this kind of issues. This one, and I still say this is until now is becoming a very important issue. To be brought up into our curriculum. And then right now.
I'm sorry for Mr. Wahyu. He lost the voice again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Very clear.
All right. Including also talking about the ethics, how the ethics issue, it can be instilled or can be put it into our curriculum structures. Right now, we are developing or building what we call it a problem-based learning into each single course subject. So there is no such issue anymore in law curriculums, without this problem-based learning model. So from this problem-based learning model, any kind of ethics issue, and then all of the legal issue that related to the ethical value have to be brought up and discussed. together in teaching learning process. And lastly, the internationalization issue. Now, well, as through what we have had it right now, Mr. Si Jun come over here, and then later on the December, we are going to have another international.
Mr. Wahyu. Sorry, Mr. Wahyu. Mr. Wahyu, can you hear me?
We have cyber law, and then we have comparative law, academic and all of this is international participation. Thank you,
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wahyu, for all the answer. You already answered 3 questions. Thank you very much. So the next session, we still have 1 session for question and answer. We have, I already see the participants who raising his hand. Maybe you can, let us check. Oh, it's not, so the participants, we invite you all to raise hands so you can ask the questions live to the keynote speaker. We still have time for question and answer for the second sessions, and in the second sessions, we all allow the participants to raise hands and ask the questions live for all the keynote speaker. Oh yes, we have 1 participants in here, Arofah Kurnia. Arofah Kurnia Sandi, can please would you open the camera and your microphone, and you can ask your questions to and address your questions to the keynote speaker, please. Hello. Okay, maybe we lost it again. So for another participants who wants to ask questions directly to the keynote speaker, maybe we in this chat room we have 1 question from yeah, hello. We have question from Antia from China. Maybe you can open your camera and your microphone and ask directly to the keynote speaker. Hello, Antia. He is from China, but we don't know. Maybe he is one of student from Dr. Si Jun, or maybe from UT, but live in China.
I guess
Hello.
She's my colleague.
Oh, your students.
It's my colleague. It's not my student.
Oh, okay.
And it's next time in China, so she's not here now.
Okay, another participants want to ask directly to the keynote speaker for this. Okay, because there is no participants want to ask live, so maybe we will read the questions firstly from, maybe this is for Dr. Siju and Dr. Wahyu. This is the question from Antia, Dr. Siju's students. The question is, how do Open University rise to the challenge and develop in this digital age, especially in law educations? Maybe this is the question for Dr. Wahyu and also Dr. Sijun. And then the second question is for Mr. Sijun. For Mr. Sijun, how the China University implement the international standard educations and international professions, especially China have a lot of foreigner and especially in foreign direct investment. That is the second question for Mr. Siju. And the third questions. Okay. The third question is for all the question in here for Mr. Siju. Yeah. For Mr. Siju again, but maybe Mr. Wahyu also can answer it in the with Indonesian point of view. For Mr. Siju is from Arofah Kurnia Sandi from Surabaya. Any question in Indonesia? There is a law called ITE or digital law, electronic law, electronic information and transaction law, which is a law that regulates electronic information and transactions. Then one of the laws regulate the act of uttering hatred of hate speech. Of course, this indirectly limits the public from conveying their aspirations, and institutions, especially of officials, are offended by criticism for the public. They will try to punish or report the public. Does China have the same law as Indonesia? Does China have the electronic law regulations about hate speech, something like that, for Dr. Sijun? So we have already 3 questions for our last question and answer. First for Dr. Sijun and Dr. Wahyu about how Open University facing the digital era, especially in legal educations. Number 2 is for Dr. Sijun again, about how does China have electronic law which is regulate about hate speech? And then for Dr. Sijun again, how China implement the international standard education and international profession, especially because China has a lot of foreign direct investment. It is also, Mr. Wahyu also can answer it from the Indonesia point of view about university implement the international standard education and international profession. Please, so we will allow Mr. Sijun first to answer the questions. 10 minutes only, Mr. Sijun. I'm so sorry. And after that, Mr. Wahyu, please.
Thank you. Because I'm not a native speaker in English, so 10 minutes is enough for me. So the first question is about the university in a digital era. Actually, we already use some internet technology to support our teaching. For example, we use Moodle as our learning website, and we use some tools to provide live broadcasting in teaching. And now, especially this year, we have a new tool, artificial intelligence. We have a new program to develop courses based on AI, artificial intelligence, which means if it's finished successfully, the students can enjoy a sport at any time because we have artificial intelligence. So in one sentence, we have an open attitude to the new technologies. If only it can help us to support the students' learning. And this is the first answer for the first question. And then the second, yes, we have some programs abroad these years. So we need to cover it for other countries.
Kamu tunggu di sini aja dulu.
So in my opinion, first of all, we need to learn from some other countries, learn about the regulation, the laws in other countries, so that we can deal with the problems together. So this I mentioned the content in my speech. We need to maybe we need to invest more in the international programs to help the students to have the capacity to cooperate with the partners in other countries. And we also have some international programs. For example, we have online Mandarin courses to help people from other countries to learn Chinese. We all know Chinese may be the most difficult language in the world, but we need some people who can speak Chinese in other countries so that we can carry out the cooperation smoothly. And we have some learning center in other countries, for example, in Africa, and we also have a learning center in a country east to Indonesia. Maybe its name is Kauai. I don't know. I just want to answer a question in the chat box. Some friend asked me about the international program for our university. Yes, we do have some international program. If someone is interested in this kind of program, we hope we're looking forward to cooperate with you. And the third question, yes, it's a problem nowadays, especially when we get the information from internet. There's something bad happened in internet. Someone see some fake news, or they are not friendly to others. Yes, we do have some regulations according to this kind of behaviors, but I don't measure in this department. So I just know there were some laws or regulations according to this kind of problems, but I don't know about the details, so I cannot introduce more to you. I'm sorry. So that's all my answers.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Mr. Wahyu, please. So the question for also Mr. Wahyu is how, okay. Hello, Mr. Wahyu.
Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes, very clear.
Yes, as always, I get a trouble with this, transmissions frequently get kicked out. All right. Thank you for the questions, Miss or Mr. Antya. And the question is about how our study program, our university catered this legal study programs, in such very fast moving society. And then that is to do with the third question regarding the whole the study programs anticipating the internationalization. Well, as already alluded in the front, that our study program, we got to really consider the fast moving of society needs. That is very important. Again, that this transitional process in this what I said as feasibility studies, to develop this study program is very important. Then, when we develop this feasibility study, we have to know what's our society or the promising potential students, going to be participating in our study program. When we develop our graduates law study programs, we have that we are
Hello, Mr. Wahyu. Hello, Mr. Wahyu. We lost your voice again. Hello. Mr. Wahyu?
Yeah, okay. You can hear me?
Okay.
All right.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll continue it. So we are living in a society 5.0. So that's why in our graduate law study programs, we are using society 5.0 becoming our platforms to develop our curriculum. So all of the subject courses, in our curriculums got to do with this any issues with the society 5.0. It means digitalization. Okay. So in our shortlisted curriculum, we have academic concentrations, that cover six core subjects. Six core subjects. One of them we have cyber criminal law. We have electronic information and transaction law. We have a law, science, and technology. We have a cyber civil law, and we have a cyber criminology. And the last one is a law and global transformation. That is to do with this in the field of concentration cyber law. And comparative law also, we have a very full of international core subjects content. And to anticipate that one, we have also have to complete it with what I just said it, with the teaching and learning strategy. And right now, we are trying to adopt what we call it problem-based learning. We cooperate with Faculty of Law, Maastricht University to develop, these platforms, and then we like to adopt it into it becoming our platform in our tutorial system. So in this today's society, we try to accommodate it, all of the needs, and then we trying hard, to develop our curriculum infrastructures based on our analysis, our feasibility studies, from the society. So that's it. And then to do with the internationalization, I think right now internationalization is part of the institutional goals and policies, because this is not a limited becoming only study programs, objective, but institutional objective. Because in Indonesia, there is a Ministry of Education and Culture that once the institution already achieved international accreditations, which is that institution, that the assessor has been recognized by the Ministry of Education, then this institution, doesn't need or don't need anymore a national accreditation. What we call it in here, National Accreditation Board. So since we have international accreditation, we don't need to achieve the national accreditations. So it is very important, international accreditation. In the implementation, of course, there are a lot of variables and indicators how the institutions, can be so accountable, for its internationality on international standard performance through the student exchange, to these guest lecturers coming over here to join research and so forth. I think that's it, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wahyu, and we apologize you have a limitation of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we finished our Q&A sessions, and we would like to thank you for all the keynote speaker for these inspiring discussions, and also big thank you for all the participants. We apologize if we cannot answer all of your questions. You are very enthusiastic, and we have so many questions that we cannot answer on the chat box. Once again, because the limitation of time. So I'm Apelin Pinkan Komona. I'm saying goodbye from here, and I hand it back to Helen. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's the material delivery session led by Mrs. Evelyn Pinkan Komuna SHMH. We thank you. The next agenda is giving awards to the speakers, which will be given symbolically. The first one is for Mr. Dr. Sijun. Okay, and the second one is for Mr. Dr. Sriwahyu Kridasakti SHMH. We thank the two speakers for delivering valuable materials. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching the end of the agenda. Let us close this virtual comparative law public lecture series with reading Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thus, the series events for the virtual comparative law public lecture series. Me, Helen Adana, as the master of ceremony, would like to thank the audience for the participation. I will also apologize if there are words or actions that are less pleasing. That is all from us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.